Hello all, welcome to Fluid Shots. Today we'll be discussing about the lotus effect. The lotus plant, known as Nelumbo Nucifera as its scientific name, is referred in many different cultures as a symbol of purity, enlightenment, self-regeneration and rebirth. Even when its roots are in the dirtiest water, the lotus produces one of the most beautiful flowers and it rises above the water. It is a beautiful metaphor for our life. As you can see in this picture, right? The mud of life. It represents human suffering and obstacles. And the beautiful lotus itself, the beautiful lotus here itself, it symbolizes our journey of overcoming these obstacles. So let us understand how beautifully and scientifically this lotus blossoms and its lotus effect has been mesmerizing us since ages and what can mankind learn from it. So moving on to next, what is the lotus effect? So lotus effect, it refers to a self-cleaning property that are a result of ultra hydrophobicity as exhibited by the leaves of the lotus flower. So not just it's limited to lotus flower, a lot of plants and animal species, like roughly around 300 plants and animal species, they exhibit these kind of properties. For example, you consider dragonfly, you consider butterfly, so their wings and they have this kind of properties. So the dirt particles are picked up and carried away from the surfaces by water droplets due to the micro and the nanoscopic architecture, mostly like the hierarchical architecture on the surface. As you can see clearly in this picture, right? So you can see these kind of projections, right? Which is only possible because we have nowadays the electron microscope and a lot of technological advancement. So though we knew about its self-cleaning phenomenon through our religious scriptures and textbooks, whether it's in Bhagavad Gita or whether in Buddhism also they refer to a lot of the Lotus Sutras, right? But its mechanism of the self-cleaning mechanism. So what is the fundamental, how it is working, what is its principle? So all this was explained only in the early 1970s by Wilhelm Barthlott and his team from University of Bonn. So after the introduction of and of the scanning electron microscope. So moving on to next. So what is the functional principles? We do talk about the functional principle, that's important. So the first point is surface tension. Now, because of high surface tension, so what happens? The water will not be as it is. It will try to minimize its surface area as well as its energy and will form a water droplet. Now, when these water droplet impinges on a leaf surface, assuming this surface is leaf. Now, why this protrusion? As I have shown you in the previous slide. So, under the electron microscope, so this leaf is not actually a smooth one. It has multiple rough projections on it. So this is how closely it looks like. So when a water drop falls on it, so we'll have two cases, whether you'll have a case which is like this or you'll have a case which is like this. So it's up to us to decide what will be the actual case. Now, basically, these projections, they are separated by a very narrow distance, only like 10 to 15 microns, and their height maximum limited up to 20 microns. So basically, whatever be the weight of the liquid that will be hanging over here, it will be taken care by the surface tension. So we'll have these kind of pictures rather than these kind of pictures, because if this kind of pictures will be there, the sliding resistance will be much more, because point of contact will be much more, adhesion between the materials and will be high, and hence it won't glide smoothly over this surface, right? And as it glides smoothly over the surface, what will happen? It will try to pick up some dirt, whatever is there, and hence the self-cleaning property comes into picture. The other point is the contact angle, the angle it makes on the surface on which it is there. For example, in this picture, you can see, right? You can see droplets of water, and this was taken where the water droplet is making an angle of 148 degrees. So usually the angles when it's much more than 150, 160, they refer to ultra or super hydrophobic surfaces. So basically when this contact angle is less than 90 degree, it is like hydrophilic surfaces where the surfaces have that ability to wet the surface. The fluid have this ability to wet the surface, and If it is greater than 90°, it will become hydrophobic surfaces. So these are some of the close images observed from microscopes to have a better understanding of it. And the third is it has a wax-like material on the leaf surface. So with respect to these 2 points, when you're having another point which is a wax-like structure, wax-like material on this leaf surface, that will also helps in gliding the water droplets and helps and hence improving its functional principle, and improving the lotus effect phenomena. So what are the technical developments that has been done so far? So we know what is lotus effect, why, how this came into existence. So the one important thing which we know is that lotus effect is not only there in lotus but also in 300 other plants and animal species. So if this property through biomimetics we can bring it to artificial products like textiles, fabric, paints, metals, so we can do wonders, right? So we can develop a whole lot of self-cleaning materials. Imagine you are having a self-cleaning fabric and textile. You don't need to go for washing machine. You can just put water on it and it'll clean itself. No detergent, no washing machine. You're saving electricity. You're saving detergent. You're saving a whole lot cost. Imagine you are sailing, right? So those sail masts and all those things, where it is very difficult to pull them down and clean it, so that these can be cleaned automatically, naturally, with maybe rainwater and all. So similarly, self-cleaning paints to clean up buildings by just rainwater. Just imagine how beautiful and efficient it will be, rather than hiring someone and cleaning it up. Self-cleaning metals are also used in solar collectors for its low maintenance. Super hydrophobic paints are also used in microwave antennas to reduce the rain fade. And super hydrophobic surfaces can also be created in lab on chip, which shows promising results in microfluidic devices. Now, the applications are endless, and so the obstacles. But we are hopeful that through the study of biomimetics, we will study the nature more closely and fall in awe with it. So that's all we had for today. Thank you for being such a lovely audience. Do subscribe us for more updates. Thank you.